Radeon RX 9070 has just made headlines as tech enthusiasts discover a way to unlock massive hidden performance potential by flashing the RX 9070 XT vBIOS onto the non-XT model, a bold but risky move that has sparked excitement across the PC gaming community. And today we are diving deep into what this means for gamers, creators, and anyone looking to push their hardware to the absolute limit. So let's get into it, because according to a recent post by Reddit, user u/Novianthroise on the r/Radeon subreddit, they successfully flashed the vBIOS of a Radeon RX 9070 XT onto their Power Color RX 9070 Reaper, and the results were nothing short of astonishing, with synthetic benchmark scores soaring by 25% and real-world gaming showing performance uplifts of around 8 to 12%, which is a remarkable gain for a card that wasn't designed to hit those numbers out of the box. Now, for those unfamiliar, vBIOS flashing is essentially rewriting the card's firmware with that of another variant. In this case, the higher-tier RX 9070 XT, and while it can yield impressive results, it's not without serious risks, because not only can flashing void your warranty, but if done incorrectly, it can brick the GPU entirely, making it unusable, and yet this kind of experimental tweaking is what fuels innovation in the DIY and enthusiast communities, pushing hardware well beyond its stock limitations. And the process itself was performed using an open-source tool by Bennick3, which has been shared widely on overclock.net, offering enthusiasts a chance to try their hand at similar performance gains, though one must be extremely cautious before even attempting. Now, according to testing results shared, the RX 9070 Reaper scored around 5,821 points in 3D Mark Steel Nomad while running on its stock non-XT BIOS. But once the XT BIOS was flashed, scores jumped to 6,461. And after further tuning voltages and memory clocks, the card peaked at an incredible 7,277 points, demonstrating just how much raw performance the silicon itself is capable of when unlocked, though in gaming workloads the improvements were more modest yet still impressive, as Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p with ray tracing enabled SAW stock performance averaging 70 frames per second, while Flash and Tune card pushed close to 78 frames per second, with 1% and 0.1% low frame rates noticeably improving, delivering a smoother and more stable experience, which is critical for demanding AAA titles. And this shows that while synthetic benchmarks highlight peak capabilities, the true value lies in the real-world gains that gamers can feel during play. And interestingly, this isn't the first time we've seen the RX 9070 series flash to XT levels, because back in April, a community member of the German tech site PCGH performed a similar mod on an Asus Prime RX 9070. Flashing it with the Prime RX 9070 XT BIOS, and their results mirrored this trend, pushing the card's power draw from 220 watts up to 317 watts while boosting clock speeds to an astonishing 3.1 gigahertz, which delivered consistent 15 to 20% performance uplifts in synthetic benchmarks, with additional tuning pushing scores beyond even the stock RX 9070 XT, proving that AMD silicon has significant untapped headroom, though it becomes very clear that these gains come with heavy trade-offs, including much higher power consumption, increased thermals, louder fan noise, and most concerning, the potential for system instability or even long-term damage if the cooling solution and power delivery aren't sufficient, meaning that while enthusiasts may celebrate the discovery, average gamers need to carefully weigh the risks before diving in. But what makes this story fascinating is how it underscores the flexibility and potential of modern GPUs, especially as AMD continues to compete with NVIDIA in the high-end space. And we've seen time and again that AMD cards often have headroom left on the table, with BIOS limitations or power caps, restricting what the silicon is actually capable of, giving tinkerers an open door to experiment. And for gamers willing to risk it, the payoff could be incredible, though it's not for everyone, and many will rightly prefer stability and warranty safety over experimental tweaks. But this discovery also raises bigger questions about AMD's segmentation strategies. Because if a simple BIOS flash can unlock this much performance, it suggests that the RX 9070 and RX 9070 XT may not be as different under the hood as AMD's marketing would suggest. And in many cases, it's likely that they share the same silicon with differences enforced through firmware, power limits, and binning, a common industry practice to maximize yield, but also one that savvy enthusiasts have long exploited. Still, it must be noted that AMD and board partners don't condone such practices and will not provide support if something goes wrong. So this truly is a proceed at your own risk scenario, but it is the stories like these that remind us of the magic of PC gaming, where curious minds push past limitations, squeeze extra performance, and in doing so, inspire others to experiment and learn. And whether you're an overclocker chasing benchmark records, a gamer trying to stretch your hardware further, or just someone fascinated by the potential locked inside your GPU, this moment with the Radeon RX 9070 is a perfect example of what makes the enthusiast community so vibrant. So with all that said, what do you think? Would you risk flashing your RX 9070 with an XT BIOS to squeeze out those extra frames and benchmark scores? Or would you rather play it safe and stick with stock stability? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is one debate that's bound to divide the community. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the cutting-edge experiments happening in the PC hardware world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates, because this is TechVerse, bringing you the latest in GPUs, CPUs, smartphones, and all things technology. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one, only on TechVerse.